There are 6 athletes in 5 distinct roles on board an F50 in SailGP. Strategist, driver, wing trimmer, flight controller and 2 grinders who make up the crew. Let's take a look at the role of the strategist. I'm here with a strategist from the Emirates Great Britain team, Hannah Mills. Hannah, can you describe the role of strategist to me and also how you approach your role? Because every team's a little bit different.
So the role of strategist is basically to help navigate the boat around the racecourse as fast as possible. You're pointing out all the bits of information to tell the driver so they can hopefully avoid mistakes, pick the wind shifts and get around quickly.
So you're really the eyes of the operation. You're looking forward, you're looking back, you're looking across, trying to just paint that picture.
Exactly.
And what are you sort of looking at when you're out there? Obviously you talked about the other boats, but in SailGP, you've got to sort of like do lots of maneuvers, you've got to zigzag, you've got to get around marks. It's not like just going around a circuit. What are you sort of deciphering out there?
Yeah, it's a balance of trying to make sure you're picking the right moments to give the information, painting the picture. So often you're talking about the wind that's coming down the course, because as a sailor you can see the wind on the course. The darker patches mean more wind, the lighter patches mean less wind.
It's right gate by 55.
That's right, gate, you want it in?
Yep, so we could split here.
So you're trying to paint that picture as well as bringing in like what the other boats are doing and how they might affect you. Because again, in sailing, if you've got a boat between you and the wind, that can really slow you down. So making sure you're positioning yourself so that doesn't happen too much, or if it has to happen, making the best of a bad scenario. So it's all about timing, it's all about giving the information really succinctly and helping your driver as much as you can.
Well, I think this boat is about to come down, so we might climb on into the F50 and see where you sit and what you look at.
Sounds good.
All right, Hannah, so this is where you are when you're racing. Obviously, you're out on the water and there's a wing in the sky. So you're sitting behind the driver. Where are you looking? What are you doing? What are you hanging on to? Because the G-forces are pretty big.
Yeah, so you're attached to the boat via tether here. And so this is quite a good thing to brace against, but we also have a handle here and we have a handle here. So there's kind of a lot of bracing going on as you turn around the corners. But yeah, you're stood behind the driver, which is quite nice because they block the wind a little bit from you. But on the wing, there's a big display screen, which has got loads of information for the strategist about the wind angle, where the wind's coming from, the boat angle, how fast you're going. It has where the other boats are on it. There's lots of data on the wing screen, and so a lot of my time is spent looking at that really quickly, knowing exactly which bits I'm looking at any given moment, looking out the boat at the wind and seeing what's coming down and the other boats, kind of processing all of that and deciding what bits to give to the driver to help them make the ultimate tactical decision to get us around the racecourse.
Because the driver's so occupied, obviously, trying to make in-the-moment decisions, trying to make the boat go fast, trying to coordinate everyone in front. Yeah. So you're kind of like the extra eyes and the extra brain around him.
Exactly. Yeah. You're basically trying to plan ahead for the driver so that nothing's a surprise, which in SailGP racing is not that easy because it's pretty chaotic, it's very short.
Both follow. As can. And I don't sit up. It's just sitting behind.
But that's the ultimate goal, is to make sure that nothing that happens is too much of a surprise, and so the boat can be just sailed as fast as possible, do the manoeuvres as well as possible, and hopefully win the race.
And in traditional sailing, obviously you rely on what you can see in terms of reading how the wind affects the water. But here at SailGP, as you said, we've got so much data. You also have your own little tablet that you wear on your sleeve.
Yeah, so this is a replica of what's on the wing display. So it's obviously a lot closer for me to be able to see and just look at in a moment. But you can also toggle through a few different screens, which you can put the information that you want to see specifically yourself. So you can choose to see there's wind readings on the mark, so you can see the direction of the wind on the mark and how much wind there is at a mark if you want to. There's lots of different things you can do on this, so I'm sure every strategist has it set up slightly differently, but this is a really useful tool. But again, it's just, there's so much information, there's so much going on, it's just the big skill is picking what bits are relevant at the right time.
And also, kind of like a car, there's blind spots on an F50 as well. So occasionally we see the strategist get out of here, run across and see stuff on the other side. So you're checking all the mirrors.
Yeah, well, sure. Exactly. It's really, really hard to see through kind of that direction, through the wing, particularly for the driver. And obviously, there's a right and a wrong way in sailing. And so if you're on the tack that is the giveaway tack, where you have to get out the way of the other boats. You just have to know what's coming, and sometimes there's a bit of frenzy. So I jump up, run to the middle, see what's there, and just build that picture so that it kind of calms the boat down and makes sure everyone's happy.
Swiss crew, as we see in the big moment. Ooh, could it be a big deal for tomorrow? Yeah, there's contact. Whoa, that was solid contact. That's a very, very strong part of the Spanish boat, but I imagine there'll be proper damage on.
I was just going to say, I guess there's so much going on when you've got to cross the boat in a maneuver. It's kind of like if you were standing on the back of a car trying to surf along the highway and they decide to turn the corner. You've got to know what they're going to do before it happens. Almost.
Crossing the boat can be hectic, that's for sure, and it's all about picking a moment, 100%, making sure, but sometimes you just have to go. And so then it's kind of about knowing and having awareness of if the boat does this or does that, how's the boat going to move under your feet, and just bracing and being ready. But it's really hard at the back because you're kind of staring into the abyss. You know, when you run across the boat, it can be pretty stressful, and I've definitely had my fair share of wipeouts, which isn't so nice, but I've got some pads now, so we're all good.
Well, other than that, what's the most challenging part about being a strategist?
The most challenging part is probably the timing of when you deliver information. You know, I think being a helm myself in previous boats, or driver in previous boats.
No issues with the French right now. Denmark gone past our line. Attacking now.
I think that's really helped me know, you know, when our driver Giles is going to be really heads down into something else, and so not delivering too much information because it's just not going to go in. So picking your timing is a big one.
So communication from front to back, and everyone's timing, I imagine, is so important.
Yeah, critical, yeah.
So on the F50, obviously there's a lot going on. The jobs are divided, but when you're doing manoeuvre, it's like there's just so much more happening. What do you do to help the driver out in a manoeuvre?
Yeah, so in a manoeuvre, as a strategist, I'm running across before we do a manoeuvre. So the driver will say stand by or ready to tack or jibe. That's my cue to go.
Means you're doing a turn.
Yeah, it means you're doing a turn. So you run across the boat, get to the other side with the wing trimmer, and then I'm taking the wheel out the manoeuvre. So obviously the driver's got to get to the other side too, and so while they're doing that, generally on most teams, I think the strategist's driving out the manoeuvres.
Just taking that load off, because traditionally the wing trimmer was sort of steering behind their back, so it's kind of, but you're just unloading them to be able to trim the sails, and because like out of a manoeuvre, getting that boat speed up as fast as possible is really important, especially imagine when there's other boats around you as well.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's definitely offloading the wing trimmer to be able to trim the wing as well as possible to get that speed up as quick as possible.
Well, not only do you have to be super clever, you've got to be super athletic, and you've got to have pretty thick skin, because it sounds like it's pretty hectic with everything that goes on in terms of getting a bit battered and bruised. So you've got a tough job. Thanks for sharing what you actually do as a strategist with me and with everyone listening.
No worries.